Ever wonder how a tiny sliver of sand, yes, sand, the stuff on beaches, becomes the brain inside your phone? I mean, think about it. 1 minute it's silicon dioxide, the next it's running ChatGPT. How does that even happen? Well, it turns out the secret isn't just about carving circuits smaller and smaller. It's about playing God with atoms. Here's the thing. Pure silicon is actually a pretty boring material. It's a semiconductor, which means it can conduct electricity, but only kind of, and not very well on its own. To make it useful, you need to dope it. That sounds like something you'd do to a race car, right? But in chipmaking, doping is the act of deliberately adding tiny amounts of impurities to the silicon. I know, that sounds backwards. Why would you want to mess up a perfectly good crystal? But here's the magic. Those impurities change the silicon's electrical personality. If you add an element like phosphorus, which has one extra electron, you get what's called N-type silicon. The N stands for negative, because now there are extra electrons floating around, ready to carry current. If instead you add something like boron, which is missing an electron, you get P-type silicon, P4 positive. Because now there are holes where an electron should be. Think of it like a party. N-type has too many people. Electrons, bouncing off the walls, and P-type has empty spaces where people should be standing. Both are useful, just in different ways. Now, a transistor, specifically the most common kind, a MOSFET, that's metal oxide semiconductor field effect. Transistor is basically a sandwich of these N and P layers, built atom by atom. And building that sandwich is where things get wild. Imagine you're making a layered cake, but instead of flour and sugar, you're using gases and chemicals. And instead of a kitchen, you're in a clean room 1,000 times cleaner than a hospital operating room. The process involves 2 key steps, deposition and etching. Deposition is like painting. You spray a thin layer of material onto the silicon wafer. Etching is like sculpting. You use chemicals or plasma to carve away parts you don't want. You deposit, etch over and over, until you've built a microscopic structure just a few atoms thick. Let's make this concrete. Remember the iPhone you're probably holding, or the laptop in front of you? Inside its processor, there are billions of these MOSFETs. Each one acts like an on-off switch. When you tap your screen to open an app, a tiny voltage is applied to the gate of a MOSFET. That voltage creates an electric field that flips the switch, allowing current to flow from the source to the drain. That's the on state. No voltage? The switch stays off. One transistor, 1 bit. Billions of them working together? That's your phone running TikTok, your laptop loading a spreadsheet, or your car's computer adjusting the fuel mixture. Now here's a common misconception a lot of people have. They think chipmaking is just about shrinking things down, like a photocopier making things smaller. But it's not that simple. It's more like building a skyscraper from the ground up, floor by floor, but each floor is only a few atoms tall. And you can't just stamp a tiny version of a circuit, you have to construct each layer chemically, with extreme precision. A single atom out of place can ruin the entire chip. That's why companies like TSMC spend billions on machines that can deposit layers just a few nanometers thick. That's a billionth of a meter. For context, a human hair is about 80,000 nanometers wide. So when you hear news about ASML's extreme ultraviolet lithography machines, or Taiwan's role in making the world's most advanced chips, what's really happening is this: those machines are being used to dope, deposit, and etch layers of silicon with atomic-level precision. And the leaders in this field, TSMC, Samsung, Intel, are locked in a constant battle to build these layers more perfectly and more densely than anyone else. Why should you care as an investor? Because the complexity of this process is a massive barrier to entry. It's not just about having a factory, it's about having the expertise to control atoms. That's why semiconductor manufacturing is so capital-intensive and why a handful of companies dominate the market. If you understand doping and layering, you understand why it's so hard for anyone new to break in. Next time, we'll zoom out a bit and look at the transistor itself, how this on-off switch actually works in more detail. But for now, just remember, every time you tap your phone, you're commanding billions of tiny switches. Each one built atom by atom through the art of doping and layering. It's pretty amazing when you think about it. Subscribe to Taiwan Tech Pulse for more Taiwan Tech 101.